Hitting on a run doesn't have to be that hard, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. How to hit with power and consistency on the run and still be ready for your next shot. Basically, in this video I'm going to show you how to deal with that momentum. If you don't know what that means, when you're hitting on the run, one of the biggest challenges is staying balanced. How do you control yourself? How do the pros wind up hitting such great forehands on the run? Where there's a couple things that I'm going to show you in this video that are going to take your forehand on the run to the next level. Let's start with the biggest problems. Most of the biggest problems when it comes to hitting the ball on the run is building up momentum. If you've ever seen like a sprinter's race at the Olympics or something, and they're running and they run through the line, they never just stop. They built up so much momentum, which caused them to have to run it out. It's the same thing in tennis or in anything where you're having to run. That's probably one of the biggest challenges, where players are going out and they're trying to hit on the run and they feel that momentum taking them this way and they fight it, and what happens is it breaks their stroke down. How does it break it down? When you can't control your momentum or use it, like I'm going to show you how to do in this video, what you wind up doing is fighting it. And when you fight it, it doesn't allow you to rotate. And rotation, especially rotation of your body, is that crucial thing that provides the most power to your stroke. If you can't rotate, then it's just arm. And if it's just arm, you're going to start losing control of the stroke. So that's the first thing. The second thing is recovering. How do you recover? The biggest difference I see with a lot of recreational players is shuffling to recover when they're off the court. Yeah, shuffling's totally okay if you don't have to cover that much court. But when you're completely off the court or you're all the way to the single sideline, you shouldn't shuffle necessarily just to get back to the court. You should probably cross over to get back in position by the time your opponent's about to hit the shot. That's the correct timing for the recovery. Now, let's go through the concepts you need to understand so you know what to do when you're out on the court. The first big concept is learning to use a breaking step. And a breaking step doesn't mean you're going to break anything, but it really breaks up that momentum so it doesn't feel so rigid. And all a breaking step does is allows your body to shift and rotate as you're moving to the side, but also still hit the ball. And what this does is it smooths out this transition, meaning that you can still rotate and hit the ball. Not only that, by using a breaking step the right way, you're going to build in your recovery. And so you have a lot of things going on. You're keeping your balance, you're able to rotate, and you're building in recovery. And this is what makes you really efficient when you learn how to do it the correct way. The final thing is making sure after you do the breaking step the correct way, it'll set you up to get back into the court. And what that means is it'll put you in that nice strong runner position that I'll show you in a second, where you can explode and really get yourself back in position. Because there's no reason for hitting a great forehand on the run and you do something great, but you're not in the court to capitalize on the next shot. And the only way you can do that is making sure that you recover the right way. So we're gonna get in that runner stance after we do that breaking step, and we're gonna explode off the first step. Just by exploding off that first step the right way, you're gonna cover so much more court. I can pretty much be back in position with probably about 2.5 to 3 steps. Just like I was moving out, I can get back and be ready for that next shot. So now it's time to go through the action steps of learning how to do the breaking step. So the very first thing is you actually want to put down your racket and just focus on the footwork. And the very first thing we want to do is get into a runner's position just like this. And you can see how this runner's position starts off here. You're probably wondering, how does this relate to me hitting a forehand? Well, what does this look like? Now, here's one optional thing. I know we've talked about the hitting toe position, and if you have the opportunity to get in here and get into this position, you can still use it. But sometimes you may be on the run so much that you just can't get that foot around, and it's totally fine to be in this position. So you can do this position here, this runner's position here, or you can actually turn your toe in, which is the hitting position. Either one's totally fine. But from this position, all I want you to do is focus on going from here and then almost think of like the race just changed. I'm going from this direction where I'm gonna run, and then I'm getting set up to go to this direction. And you're gonna just hop back and forth a couple times. And you may be, again, wondering like, why am I doing this? How does this relate to footwork? Well, if I'm set up here, and what I'm gonna do is focus on letting my momentum play itself out, I'm gonna need to hop and readjust my weight just like this. And as we start swinging the racket in a second, you'll see how this works. And just do this back and forth. So now we're gonna go to step 2, which is actually running and showing you how the breaking step fits into the move we just did. We're gonna do one more breaking step, but I want you to do it with your racket. So how we're set up here, and then what I'm gonna do is actually swing and bring my body around. Now how this works is if I'm running, I'm gonna just run a little bit from here, but you're gonna notice how when I get to the ball, you can see how my body weight shifted and I kept my balance and I was able to rotate. The big thing that we don't want to get into is if we're hitting and we're falling over here, our weight was too far over there. So what we want to do is make sure when we're running to get to the ball, we're going to run and shift. And with this shift, look what's happening. My body weight is over my leg here, which allows me to push off and get back. And so this is the big thing about the breaking step. The more momentum you build up, instead of trying to fight it and hit, you can almost hear like how my feet are like fighting and hitting. You can see how much resistance is in my body and I'm not rotating compared to going, and now since I've shifted my weight, I explode off of this leg and cross over to get back, and that's your recovery. So you can put the whole thing together. It's very smooth and seamless kind of movement where suddenly you can take all this momentum build up, use it to rotate, and then use your shift to recover back in the court and be very athletic and solid with your movement. So in this final action step, it's really about making sure you've done the previous action steps over and over and over again. Because when you add in the ball, you don't want to be thinking about your footwork. This wants to become muscle memory. And the way I'm going to do this is something where you can practice by yourself, just feeding yourself a ball before you even have to hit with a ball machine or a friend. But the key is making sure you practice. Now, as we do this, we're going to combine everything we just talked about from moving over. I'm going to shift to hit the ball and then explode back. And it's really crucial, the timing here. Then when I'm moving over, boom, to hit it, I shift. But as the ball's traveling to my opponent, I explode here and making sure that I square my body up by the time my opponent hits the ball. We never want to get caught running this direction when your opponent's hitting the ball, because it now puts you in a position where you can't come back and cover this side of the court. So let's see how it's done. And this is the way you're going to want to practice this at home. So we're going to go out, okay? You can see I'm covering. And you can really see how dynamic this is. Now there's one extra thing that's going to start happening as you notice this. I call it landing the plane. The harder this stroke is, or the more difficult, or the more momentum you build up, the lower you're going to want to get to hit it and do everything we've talked about. The whole point of being low when the ball's hit very hard is that you don't topple over and lose your balance. By being low, it's much harder for your body to topple over, and you're going to stay balanced longer. In summary, number one, make sure you don't fight momentum. This is a big thing for a lot of recreational players. As they run out, they're fighting momentum, and I see it. Literally, you're hopping to the side trying to hit forehands on a run. Don't do it. Don't fight momentum. You're never going to win. You have to learn to work with it, which leads us to number two, which is shift. When you're hitting and you feel that momentum, shift your body weight under you. So making sure that it sets you up to be balanced, so you can rotate, and you're going to be set up to now recover, which leads me into number three, explode. So many times, even when players are using the breaking step and they're trying to recover back into the court and they're set up, they take this weak first step. The weak first step doesn't really allow you to cover that much court getting back into the court to get ready for that next shot. So it's really important that you explode, which allows you to get back quicker and cover more court. If you'd like this video, make sure you go to totaltennisdomination.org to get more great videos like this, and make sure you sign up for my free automatic consistency course, which is going to help you take your consistency to the next level. If you struggle with winning matches because you're not making enough balls, then this is the course for you, and it's absolutely free. All you have to do is go to the site. You'll see a button that says level up in the top right corner. Click that, fill out the information, and you'll get free access to automatic consistency course. So I'll see you next time.